Hey Harmonizers, welcome to this video with Elon where he's going to prep for an extreme cowboy race, and I'll show you guys a few little updates along the way. So first up, we are doing our first canter with a flag. So Elon earlier in the week was really scared of flags, and this was something that we worked on to help build up his confidence and moving around the arena, first doing it groundwork and then picking it up riding and getting to the point where we could finally canter and move around with it. So this was a pretty huge step for him. His right canter lead also getting super good at picking that up, which was a struggle on the first day as well. But interestingly enough as well, I went to a chiropractor appointment and my right hip, she said, was really kind of locked up and did a big adjustment there. So I'm hoping to keep up on top of myself, and then hopefully that will transition to my horse as well. Elon also moved out into the big field with his little buddy Dare, my daughter's pony, and he's out there with some other horses, which you can't see right now, but they're in a much bigger space in the paddock down in the back. So this is pretty exciting for him that he's got a lot of extra space going around at the back there. And then this is them all up by the water and the salt shelter and everything up here at the front of the paddock. That's Chili and Pentland that they're now hanging out with in the new herd, and they're checking out the new salt lick feeder there. Elon's giving it a good sniff and checking it all out there. We give them free choice salt and minerals all the time there. And I was not posting a couple videos earlier this week because we went to the zoo on Monday. So this is little Evelyn at the zoo riding the monkey on the carousel. She loves the carousel, so I had a really good time with that. And a little baby update for you with little baby Melina. She is learning how to smile, so that's her big new thing going on right now. It's couple cute little baby smiles before we take you to the extreme cowboy race and a cool obstacle that I want to show you guys that is pretty simple and you guys can build it at home. So here is the obstacle. This was at the Stonehaven place where we did the extreme cowboy race. So it's a carousel type obstacle, and all it is a barrel where they've cut a hole in the top, and then they've used this PVC pipe with a three-way joint on it, which you can just kind of glue together and stick it in. And the pipe is basically in the hole, and then as you turn, the whole thing rotates. So there's no like joint or anything that has to swivel. It's literally just the pipe in the barrel and the joint. I don't know if it's glued together or not. I think it must be because it's just kind of tricky to do. Otherwise, like, it might all fall apart. So here is our first ever extreme cowboy race together. So this is pretty exciting for Elon and I. So we start off and I thought, oh, he'll go for a little canter around. And then he was actually really scared of the corner here because there was a really loud speaker in the corner and a generator. So I found that kind of scary. So I let him walk around it, and then we pick up our pace a little bit. And he's just more nervous of that side of the fence because there's the trailer, there's the generator, there's the speakers. So I found that a little intimidating. So of course I'm not going to kick him and egg him on or anything like that. We just kind of go when he's ready to pick up the pace, because I don't want him to lose his brain and become crazy because he's thinking about going and not about being calm and relaxed. Our first obstacle is a side pass that unfortunately you can't really see what we're doing down there, but it's just very basic poles on the ground. It's an L shape. So it wasn't a difficult side pass, but just an interesting obstacle to start off with off the bat there. So we get through our side pass, and then we're gonna come around the corner here, and we're heading into a spin box, which I have not actually started teaching Elon how to spin. We've done a little bit of pivoting on our haunches, but really not a whole lot. So our spins are pretty atrocious, and we're inside of a box. We have to stay inside the poles, which makes it a little bit trickier. So I ended up just kind of doing some turnarounds, some really little circles in there because I haven't really taught that to him. So it's not super fair of me to ask that of him. So we're just doing some little turnarounds. Definitely not proud of those. I know you can't see them super well, but you can see that they are not good. And that will be something that we have to work on before we get to Texas for Worlds for sure. So we get our 2 spins done in each direction, and then we're going to head off and do these pulls here. There wasn't really a lot of space to do a trot or a canter in there while still making sure you can bring your energy down to go over the poles safely, which he's very careful about. So I was pretty happy about that. And then we're going to come into this back through obstacle, which is just a couple barrels, and turning him around. I'm going to do a little backwards weave through here. So we've been practicing with poles and backing between different L shapes and things like that. So this is different, having him back through the barrels, which he found a little bit confusing. So he gets the backup going, and then the rotating to turn to go to the next barrel he finds a little bit confusing. So it's not super smooth, but it's okay. And he's moving off my leg decently well. A little bit tossy with his head, but overall looking a little bit better. I had to kind of bump him a little bit here because he thought, I don't know what he thought, but he wasn't really sure what he was doing there. So I just had to get that a little smoother to finish on a good note. And then heading off to our gate obstacle. So he's going to come over to the gate area here. And this was brand new for him. This was our first solid gate. We've been practicing with rope gate, so he's familiar with the maneuvers. We've practiced side passing to different obstacles, but this was our first time at the rope or at a solid gate. Plus, there was a little flag on that gate. You can see it's fluttering in the wind a little bit. It's not super moving, but I wasn't sure if he was going to look at that because he can be a little bit nervous of things. And he only just got over his fear recently of flags. So I was really happy that we completed that gate really smoothly. And then up and over this mogul hill. So just a little hill there that we go over. So we did that at the trot. And then heading out to a ditch obstacle. So it was a pretty big ditch, nice and wide and inviting. It really wasn't a super scary ditch. There was no water in it or anything like that. So we're going down into the ditch and then up out of the ditch. So he does that really nicely. And then a daisy chain obstacle. So this is where you have 5 poles. So the center pole is one that you always turn left around. And then the ones on the outside, you always make your turns to the right. And I went around this asking for a trot. Every so often he gives me a stride or two of canter, but we didn't quite have our balance enough to ask for full canters with lead changes or anything like that. Remember, he only just learned how to canter this past during this past week with me on his back. And so that's all brand new for him. So he mostly just trotted this daisy chain. They're pretty tight turns to get through. And he's only just starting to learn about shaping and bending and things like that. So it's pretty challenging for him. And that was the last obstacle. So then we're off on our free ride home, which is supposed to be pretty fast. And we mostly canter it. And I'm pretty proud of that because that's a brand new skill for him. So all in all, he did super fantastic. Ended up finishing 6th place out of, I think, only 8 or 9 people, but I'm really proud of him. Lots of big firsts, and I'm so excited for his future and what's going to be coming next. So thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully you guys are cheering us on for his next big competition and heading down to Kentucky.